Hi everyone. Are you true to your word? Are you committed to the words you speak? Well, God certainly is, and if we want to grow in the prophetic, we must realize that our words in the Spirit will only carry as much weight as our words in the natural. If we are true to our word in everyday life, then our words will be meaningful in the Spirit. Let's have a look at how we can cultivate the value and significance of our words as we learn to be consistently true to our word. In Judges chapter 11, we read the story of Jephthah. Although it is a tragic story, we can learn from a man who cultivated the significance of the words he spoke. Jephthah is described as a mighty warrior who was the son of Gilead and whose mother was a prostitute. Gilead's wife had many sons, and when they had grown up, they drove Jephthah away because he was the son of another woman and they didn't want him to share in the inheritance of the family. Jephthah then fled to the land of Tob, where he settled and became a leader. There was something about Jephthah that caused people to want to follow him. Sometime later, when the Ammonites were fighting against Israel, the elders of Gilead sought out Jephthah to ask him to lead their army. Obviously, Jephthah was surprised that they would seek his help after having rejected him in the past, but when they told him that if he helped them, they would make him their leader, Jephthah took their words very seriously. He not only got them to repeat the promise, but repeated all the words that had been spoken to the Lord. Jephthah made sure the words spoken were sealed before man and God. He was a man of his word, and he expected the same of others. As the commander of Israel's army, Jephthah then asked the king of Ammon why they are fighting against him and his land. I love the way Jephthah takes hold of what was promised to him and how he steps into his new identity as Israel's leader. After hearing why the Ammonites were fighting against Israel, Jephthah recognizes that the Ammonites have no right to the land and gives the king of the Ammonites a history lesson to show them that the Lord had given Israel the land and that they were the ones who would possess it. Jephthah declares, "Whatever the Lord has given us, we will possess." The lesson here is that when God speaks His word, it is up to us to take possession of it. There are many wonderful truths that God speaks over His children, but it is up to us to possess those truths by faith and walk in our new identity in Christ. The Spirit of God then came upon Jephthah, and he led Israel's army to fight against the Ammonites. Unfortunately, Jephthah does something very foolish. He promises God that if they are victorious, he will sacrifice the first thing that he encounters when he returns home. Tragically then, after God gave Israel the victory, Jephthah returns home and is first met by his one and only daughter. Jephthah is distraught because he had given God his word and there was no way to take it back. He was a man of his word, so he would keep his word regardless of the consequences. Jephthah was true to his word, and even his daughter understood how committed Jephthah was to his word because she had grown up in a culture where words were significant and were to be kept. It's disputed as to whether Jephthah then sacrificed his daughter, but the point is that Jephthah is an outstanding example of a man who was true to his word, and that it was his integrity both in the spirit and in the natural that promoted him to lead the nation of Israel for 6 years. Your words are important. I want to encourage you to pay attention to the words you speak and the commitments you make. It's important that we cultivate the significance of our words so that they become weighty in the natural and in the spirit. If our words move us unconditionally in the natural, then our words will move mountains in the spirit. Let's be true to our word and become known as a people who keep the word no matter what. Then our words will become powerful in the spirit and we will possess the land God has given us. Keep your word.